Hey, it's Anthony Conklin, AnthonyJConklin.com. I want to talk to you today about prospecting, and I want to talk to you about it really quickly because I know it's the most avoided topic that sales executives want to talk about. And not just sales, I'm talking leaders in small and medium business, CEOs, entrepreneurs, anybody in a leadership position, anybody who has a direct impact on revenue. They don't like the word prospecting because prospecting sounds like this ugly thing that you have to do. And the fact of the matter is you're going to have to do prospecting if you want to grow your business, whether you want to grow your business in the small and medium business market or if you want to grow it geometrically. So I want to talk to you about prospecting, but I want to go over it in 4 separate segments. One is I want to talk about in-person meetings and phone calls, talk about email, talk about social media, and then talk a little bit about sort of other. So let's talk about them one at a time. And I have some notes here, so I'm going to refer to my notes. I polled 20 sales executives over the past 2 days, and I asked them the question. I said, what is your preferred method of prospecting? And they all kind of came back with the same answer. So I put these answers together, and let me start from the bottom up. So the third most go-to prospecting tool is social media. Now, there are a lot of people out there, especially folks in the social media industry, ones that are in the social selling business, that's saying cold calling's dead and you're not going to be able to get anybody on the phone. Well, the fact of the matter is you're going to get more people on the phone because less and less people are making phone calls. So your ability to get to the decision maker is going to grow geometrically when you pick up the phone and make a call. So social media is rated at the bottom, but what I would say in my own personal experience is you have to have a social media presence. If you're going to be going after customers, whether it be B2B or B2C, I would say LinkedIn is your first place to go. LinkedIn is the place to do business. It's the grandfather of any social media platform. If you look at it, social media is the white space that no one's paying attention to on the prospecting side. I have to tell you, I have an 85 to 95% hit ratio when I hit somebody up on social media. Kind of reminds me of what Gary Vaynerchuk said years ago when he was talking about in the early 90s when he was in AOL. He said he had 96% open rate on his email. Well, I'm getting close to a 90% hit rate on my LinkedIn. So I would say LinkedIn is an absolute great prospecting tool. So that's number 3. Number 2 is email. Email is the go-to. It's been around. I don't think it's ever going to go away in the near future. It's the way that most people communicate. Millennials like to communicate more through text, but when you kind of look at the spectrum, you look at people that are baby boomers, Generation Xers, Gen Yers, and millennials, everybody and anybody still uses email as a way of communicating. So I think email is still going to be around. I still think it's a really great way of prospecting. If you look up at HubSpot.com, HubSpot gives you some great ideas on what to put in the subject line, some catchy words you can use or catchy phrases you can use. But email has always been and always will be, at least for the foreseeable future, a top-rated prospecting tool. So we have social media and we have email. Number 2 is going to be phone and video conference. Now, when I say phone and video conference, I'll separate them a little bit. The phone is always going to be around. It's a communication device. It's your answer to prayers. It's your answer to things in life. It's your answer to communicating. It's your answer to being social. It's anything and everything for many, many people. But it's the most valuable tool that is underutilized today. And picking up the phone and making a phone call to an executive, I guarantee you're probably going to get more than a 50% hit ratio if you call them at the right time. Again, this is whether you're in a B2C environment or you're in a B2B environment. Picking up the phone, making the phone call, guys, gals, pick up the phone, make the call, you're going to get a more than a 50% hit ratio. Now, there are things that you need to think about when you're making phone calls. One is you need to think about A, when do I call them? 2, what are the things I need to say? And by the way, stopping at 2, you need to be a value creator. You need to check out my friend Anthony Iannarino. He's an international speaker. He's got many, many books out there. The Lost Art of Closing is his most recent book, so make sure you check out Anthony's book. He talks a tremendous amount about being a value creator. And the way you get someone on the phone is you lead with value. Now, I'll talk about that in another video, but I want you to think in terms of getting people on the phone. You have to pick up the phone and make the phone call. And again, I've surveyed these 20 sales leaders in the past couple of days, and they told me outright, Anthony, we have to make more phone calls. Now, on the flip side, or breaking it up, is video conferencing. Now, if you can't meet people in person, the next best thing to do is video conference. Listen, we all do selfies or video recording of some type. I mean, I think anybody and everybody who has an iPhone has used FaceTime from time to time. If you're not a big iOS fan, you can use an Android app, you can use Skype, but having that connection visually puts you in a different state. And you know, the one thing that I realized too, when you have a video conference with somebody, you're just about there in person, but the thing that people pick up on most when you're on video or when you're in person is they get attracted to your energy. You know, subconsciously, you're taking all of your beliefs and all your energy and you're transferring them to the person that you're speaking with. I mean, I remember interviewing sales executives and interviewing other top CEOs. I remember when I interviewed Tony Robbins, I mean, I felt Tony come right through the screen and basically take over my soul. His energy is so powerful and so impactful. Tony took over my brain because his visual presence, his energy level was so substantially higher than anybody I ever met. He made me believe that anything he said was right. And you can do that too with the power of video. And with video, listen, it doesn't have to be creative lighting. It doesn't have to be all, you know, all these super fancy looking cuts. Just document it. Pick up the phone, record it, send a message. I'll leave you with this on video conferencing and video messaging. I sent video messages to 2 senior executives and both of them responded within 5 minutes. First, they said, hey, really cool about the video message. And number 2, hey, listen, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. So I got their attention and I was a disruptor. So that's number 2. And number 1 is the in-person meeting. You can't beat the feeling of shaking a hand. You know, Simon Sinek talks a tremendous amount about that physical space, that personal space, the smell of the coffee, the feel of the handshake, the feel of the heat or the air conditioning in the environment, just the chemistry between 2 people. You can get so much more accomplished. I just came back from Utah meeting with a couple of senior executives, and we had dinner. And I tell you, we got so much accomplished just by sitting down having a meal. The other executive I met with, I had coffee with. And again, we got so much accomplished. I mean, we talked about our kids, we talked about family, and we had a much more in-depth conversation just about business and values and value creation and what their complaints and challenges are and the things that they want to accomplish. And you cannot get the feeling of someone's handshake by looking into a video camera. You cannot get the feeling of chemistry through a glass screen. So the last thing I just want to say is, of those 3, let's go through them again. Number 1 is in-person meeting. Number 2 is phone and video conference. Number 3 is email. Number 4 is social media. Whatever prospecting tool you decide to use, you have to use what works for you. What's the most important thing? What's the most important tool you can use that will make you the most effective? So let me say it this way. Let me slow down and give it to you this way. If you're an introvert, and you don't like making cold calls, well, sending video messages would work because you're doing it on your own. No one's looking at you in the room. You hold up the phone, you press the record button, and then you send the message, okay? If you're not really good at speaking, but you're really good at writing, craft an amazingly powerful email. There's so many resources. You can Google the hell out of emails. You go into Google and say, what are examples of the best CEO emails I can send, and use snippets from that, wrap your words around it, and make it all about you. Okay? If you're not really great on the phone, or if you're really not good in writing, I would say you need to go bone up on those 2 because you're not going to be super successful in sales if you do that. But if you're really good in social media, then find a social media person that works in the B2B space or the B2C space, depending on the space you're in, to help you craft that message on that platform. So if your clientele is on Facebook, well, have a Facebook person or Facebook social media person help you craft that message so you can reach that particular audience. If your audience is on Instagram, have them put together a really cool picture, a really quick video, and do some jump cuts or whatever the case may be, and make it compelling enough that they can stop and say, I want to talk to that person, or I'm interested in that business. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Once again, I'm Anthony Conklin, AnthonyJConklin.com. This has been about prospecting, and you're going to be seeing videos from me every week about sales, solar energy, and how you can make your experience in leadership and in business the best and most impactful it can be. You can find me at AnthonyJConklin.com. Les Brown says you have greatness within you, and you do, and your job in life is to live your greatness every single day and share it amongst the planet. Have yourself a great day, guys. Until then, I love you, and we'll see you next time.